How's it going, guys? Will here, and by the time this video goes live, I'm most likely going to be in Portugal, so this is going to have to be a quick one. Okay, no. I tried, I really did, but I just couldn't get it finished in time. So this is after I'm back from Portugal. Portugal was amazing, by the way. Got lots of new content coming soon. Also, I'm sorry about some of the B-roll in this video. My lens actually did break while I was in Portugal. I've got another one coming tomorrow, but this section might be slightly out of focus and some of the B-roll might look a little bit distorted in the corners. It will be fixed soon. Okay, back to the video. As some of you may know, over the past month or so, I've been testing iOS 13, and in this time, I've really got to grips with it, and oh man, there are some incredible features with this new OS that's really refined it as an operating system, taking some of the features that I loved from Android and putting that special Apple shine on it that we're all used to by this point. Don't get me wrong, there are still a fair few problems with the beta in the current stage, but honestly, this is to be expected with the beta. So after all this testing, I am really looking forward to the stable release in September. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into my top 5 brand new features of the new operating system that I really like. Bear in mind, these are in no particular order. I like them all very much. So when it comes down to things like this, it's more of a compilation than a competition. Word. Okay, so the first thing I really like about the update was actually one of my favorite features over on the Android side of things. Simply put, the swipe keyboard. I've always been very satisfied with the keyboard layout on iOS, but just for the sake of having it, I've always wanted a swipe keyboard on my iPhone. And while not super important on the larger iPhones, on the smaller iPhones, such as the SE or the 5S, this can make a huge difference. It was always tricky navigating on such a small keyboard accurately, and in 2019, after getting used to these larger phones, it's even more difficult than it was before. In fact, I mentioned that in my iPhone SE video, which is up there. You should go watch that if you haven't already. By the way, thank you very much for how well that video did. I know I'm kind of cutting into this video saying this, but thank you so much for how well it's done. I got tons more content like that on the way very soon. Compared to simply typing, using the swipe keyboard on smaller iPhones can not only be significantly faster, but a lot more accurate. Even in the beta release, it's super functional and will basically remedy all the problems that come with typing on a small phone, especially if you have big hands. Which, I do not. Still difficult for me to type on the SE though. There will be some problems with misswipes, but that comes along with swipe keyboards in general. So with that, I am very pleased that Apple decided to add this feature. Next, we have an updated interface for Apple Music, which I already loved. If you want to find out why I actually made a video on that also a while back, you can check that out again, up there in the card. It's probably there now. The design overall feels more refined, with little tweaks such as the arrow on top being replaced with a simple bar, which just leads to a less intrusive, sleeker look. Another new addition is simply improving the lyrics option. Instead of swiping up to see the lyrics, you can now tap the icon and you can actually scrub through the song by clicking on a line, which can help you find certain parts of a song with ease. I do really like this, and while it's not hosted by Genius like I think it was on the Spotify side of things, it does overall seem a lot more function because you have that feature. And granted, not all the music I listen to has lyrics available yet, but hopefully more lyrics will be added in the future, so that problem will be solved too. Also, I'm not sure if that's necessarily an iOS thing. It might just be down to the artist, but still, hopefully. Everything else is pretty much the same though, which means there's going to be no awkward transition period like there often is when different features are added onto iOS. You'll generally be able to go right back into using Apple Music as you were before. The one thing I will say though is that the new lyrics icon actually replaces the previously placed add to library or download button. So to do this now, you'll either have to go into the album where the song's stored, or click the drop down icon from the right side of the app and select it from the list. Honestly, and I am being completely honest, this does seem a little clunky. I just think it's a shame that you can't swipe up for lyrics like you could before. This is a little inconvenient, honestly, and I wish that the lyrics could have been activated in the same way as before, where you just swipe up and the lyrics appear. But honestly, the adjustment period wasn't all that long, and within a week or so, I was used to the new location. Overall, the changes are subtle, but I do really like the new layout, including dark mode. Following on from this, we have one of the most requested features of iOS ever, a real, functioning dark mode. I can't begin to say how much I like this feature simply because of how well it works with the way I use my phone. At the start, I didn't think I was going to use this feature all that much because I'm not personally a dark mode nut, but once I used it with the day and night cycle, I completely changed my mind. I don't personally like to look at dark colors all day, so the fact that it can be automatically toggled on and off for nighttime use is an incredible feature, and one that I'm probably going to find hard to go back from. I love how dark mode works on all standard Apple apps, including the previously mentioned Apple Music, and as somebody who uses their phone late at night, I know I shouldn't do it. I've been trying not to, but the fact remains that I wrote this script at 1:30 in the morning does mean that once I'm done using my phone, I can go to sleep much more easily because I haven't had the piercing white light just blaring into my face for the last hour and a half. I have mine set to go dark at 9:30 p.m. and I found this to be the perfect time for me, but that is adjustable, and Apple have even gone further and added a set of wallpapers that actually have a dark mode. And I personally think that this just adds to that overall Apple experience. These are currently fairly limited, but I'm sure that we'll get more of these in the future, and while I don't personally use it because I have this photo of the Wicker Man that I actually shot on this phone, let me know, by the way, if you want to see a tutorial on how to shoot nice looking photos with your iPhone. I'd love to make that tutorial. If you guys want to see it, then I'll go ahead and make it. But the wallpapers are nice to have nonetheless, and they might actually be a pretty good visual indicator of whether you're using dark mode or not, so kudos to Apple for adding this feature. Shortcuts already existed, but with iOS 13 they become significantly more functional. Before, you could perform complex actions at the touch of a button, but in the new iOS, these can actually be done automatically when win conditions are met. What does this mean? This means that the user doesn't actually have to do anything to activate some of these shortcuts. For example, you want to save battery, so you turn off Bluetooth, but you're the owner of a prestigious pair of AirPods. Well, when you turn on Bluetooth, you can set it to automatically attempt to connect to your AirPods rather than just searching for all the other devices. It might not seem all that important, especially if you're like me and don't actually own a pair of AirPods, not part of that exclusive club. But there are a ton more actions that shortcuts can be used with, such as these. Yeah, there's quite a lot. Okay, another scenario. Say you want to go into a quiet place like a library. When you arrive, if you've set up a shortcut, your phone can automatically turn on Do Not Disturb mode, so there's zero chance of Doris the librarian kicking you out because your phone accidentally starts blaring in the quiet zone. Another thing, if you fly a lot, you can use this feature to toggle airplane mode on once you arrive at the airport, so you don't forget to turn it off. And what happens if you don't turn off airplane mode when you're flying? Okay, so it is exactly what I thought it was. I had a rough idea, but I didn't want to say, and basically it just messes with the signals. So that could be helpful because messing with the signals when you're in the air is quite serious. Overall, I really like this feature, and I do think it's worthy of that iOS 13 title. Finally, and while I know I said I don't have favorites, I was kind of being like stereotypical suburban parent. Obviously, I have a favorite, and in this case, it's the Photos app. It's been completely redesigned for iOS 13, and there are so many new features that just make the app more polished, more functional, along with some of the most incredible tools for editing that have made this the best photo app I have ever used. The first thing that's new is the new organization system. You can organize by all photos, days, months, and years, and it'll show what photos is interpreted to be the highlights as the thumbnail, which in turn just makes finding photos so much easier. I personally love this feature because it's easy to forget a date that a photo was taken, so having those large thumbnails really helps me find photos significantly faster than with the old grid method. As I said, this can be organized by days, months, and years, showing highlights for each, so if you have a ton of photos, this will come in handy. The All Photos tab is very similar to the original, so if you don't like the redesign, you can always switch back to the classic version, because while it is easier to navigate, it is a big change. So first, I did find myself using the All Photos tab while I slowly got used to the redesign, but now I don't use All Photos whatsoever. There are also some brand new editing features that's so good to have. I love color grading my videos, but what if I'm away from my desk and just suddenly want to color grade? Well, I can now. Apple added a ton of great video editing features to the Photos app, which include adjustments, filters, crop support, and rotation, so you can rotate videos within your phone, no external apps required, which is amazing. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've thought I've been recording in horizontal mode, but it's secretly been in portrait mode. If I wanted to use that, I've had to load it up into this computer here, rotate it in Premiere, and that's just a long, drawn-out process that's kind of unnecessary. Now I can do that within the Photo app within like 2 minutes, and it's amazing. Another thing I love is the color controls within the app. While you can't do anything crazy like load LUTs or tweak your HSL, maybe in iOS 14, hopefully. That would be good. You can add filters which sort of act like LUTs, make contrast and brightness adjustments, and if you want to quickly grade your footage from your camera, this is an amazing feature. I personally like to grade all my footage on that, but if you want your Instagram video to just look that little bit extra, then this could be a great feature for you. Overall, the new Photos app in iOS 13 is absolutely stunning, and as I said before, by far my favorite feature of iOS 13. So, those were my personal favorites. What are yours? Let me know with a comment. I love reading your comments. I do always try to respond to as many as possible. Recently, this channel has been absolutely killing it, and I just want to take this moment to say thank you very much to you guys. In fact, time for a little bit of honesty. From about April to the point where I got this GH5. I completely lost my mojo for making YouTube videos, and honestly, I was in a serious slump. I don't necessarily know what caused it, but I think that really started to affect the quality of the videos I was making. But because of you guys, I'm loving YouTube more than ever. It's great to be out of that slump. It's fantastic to be back to making content that I love, and I'm so glad that you guys are enjoying it. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Remember to like the video if you want to see more content like this, and smash that subscribe button. I'm done, and I will see you in the next one.